How's the family? Welcome back to Larry's Anything Goes. Hopefully, you guys are having a great and exceptional day. Today's word of the day is innings. Basically, from most baseball games are divided into 9 innings. Each inning gives both teams a chance to be up at bat until they get 3 strikes. And then obviously, 3 strikes and you're out. And life is like a baseball game. You have winners and losers. America is like a baseball game or any sports game. There's winners and losers. I remember there was a Carlos Mencia, probably maybe 10 years ago now, the comedian slash actor. He made a point about in the United States of America why soccer, where in the rest of the world calls it football, isn't that popular because in soccer you can have a tie. Um, but in every other sport in America, there's either a game of winners and losers. There's no in between. And that's the way the economic game works for the most part. Now, there is a middle class in the United States of America, and that's what makes America a very great place to be. However, a lot of people that are in the middle class can get stuck in a rut. I like to call it the economic rut, or being called people who are basically the working retired, where they're not retired, but they have a mindset of this is all I can do as far as a job. This is the only place I can live. Um, there's nothing beyond the clouds of where my life is at right now. There's nothing beyond my job. There's nothing beyond the town that I live in. There's just, this is it until the day I die. Or when I quote unquote retire, I still won't go anywhere. I just won't go to work and whatnot. I'll collect my social security and my pension if I could even live off of it. Or I'll work a part-time job or something to that effect until the day I die. That's what I call the working retired, in my personal opinion. If you fall in this category, there's nothing wrong with that, but I don't want to fall in that category. Um, so it's a lot of times where that's the case where you have 9 innings. And in life, you have certain amount of innings that you can get things done, and then there's a certain time frame where you can't get things done. Like, great example, whether you love or hate Joe Biden, I don't care. I'm not voting in this election. I'm not paying attention to this election. I don't care. So whatever side you're on, do you. Like I said, the only policy that matters to me is the economic policy. Anything outside of that, and at this point in my life, if I don't hear people talking about business and money and investments, then I know the hustle is on, whether it's a Democrat or Republican. So I'll leave it at that. All right. But in Joe Biden's case, he's 81 years old. If you saw the debate that he had against Donald Trump, he was not on his game. You could tell in a sense, he's not at a point where he can run for president, where he can lead. It's time for him to retire. He's done, the things that he needs to do in his life. I know one of his biggest goals was to finally become the president of the United States. It finally happened. It happened in his late 70s, but it finally happened. And with that being said, he can, whenever he passes away, he can say, hey, I did it. I was a senator for this amount of time. I was a vice president for this amount of time, for 8 years. I was a president for 4 years. Anything else I want to get done outside of government or outside of being the president, I can do in the last years of my life. Let me have a peaceful life and, leave it at that. So, and that's one thing you can say. It's and one thing you can even admire about a Joe Biden or Donald Trump, whether you love him or hate him, forget all the personality and the political crap. These people are still in their 70s and 80s working. And so bank on that. Now, remember, these are two people that don't have to work, but they're still working. Bank on that. Think on that. So these people are at a point in their life where they could have retired a long time ago, but they're not. In a sense, they both have a driven mindset. You look at Nancy Pelosi and Mitch McConnell; they're up there in age. Whether you like them or hate them, it's irrelevant. These people have a multitude of, like most people at their ages, in their 70s and 80s, just want to sit down and binge on social media and look at the news all day, and that's it. Literally, that's it. They're not driven to want to do anything else. This is it. This is the end of the line. But these people in their 70s and 80s are still working and still driven and still passionate about things. And that's how I want to live my life. I don't want to ever not be driven and be passionate, because that's the day that I basically mentally die. But a lot of people have this, I want to retire at this age and do nothing. And there's nothing wrong with that. But that mindset, and for me, it's very... it basically takes motivation away from me. And I love to be around motivating people. That's why a lot of times I like to be around people that's in their 20s sometimes. Not that I'm trying to hang out with them like I'm their peers, because I'm in my 40s now, but I love to be around young, ambitious people, or ambitious people, period, but younger, ambitious people, because their drive can help me keep my drive or intensify my drive to want to do better, whether it's trying to create content, buy real estate, whatever the case may be. Being around people that just want to talk about basic things on a regular basis doesn't help drive me. And me being driven is not going to help them because they don't want to talk about buying, opening up businesses, investing into things, and making content and things of that nature. So what's the point of being around them? So in life, you only have, like in baseball, you only have a certain amount of innings. And are you going to make those the best innings, or are you just going to basically be basic and flop around? That's on you. All right, so today's quote of the day is by Rick Ross. He says, being a big guy, you face certain challenges. Over time, though, women found excuses to find me attractive. And I think that Rick Ross, kind of like even the rapper, rest in peace, Biggie Smalls, and even Big Pun, rest in peace to him as well. I think women found them attractive because they saw driven. It might not have been the built guys, in shape guys, but they saw that these guys had a hustle to them. These guys weren't just big guys laying around eating snacks, getting fat, and scratching themselves. These guys were about their business and about their money, and they had a confidence about them before they even became successful artists, music artists. So you have to really keep that in mind. It's not about your looks. It's about confidence being driven. I've always said on the female, the most sexy thing on a woman is two things before I even go to the looks. It's intelligence and it's confidence. Because the beauty fades, dumb is forever. I always love, that's my favorite quote from Judge Judy, who's an online TV judge, and who was a judge in New York before she became an online TV judge. I think now she's an executive producer of a court show or court shows. But anyways, and for a lot of females, for a man, being driven and being confident is very attractive to them. All right, because and women know this, they can be around the most buff guys with the biggest muscles on the planet, all the tattoos on the planet, the nicest beards on the planet. But what the hell do they got going on? Where's their mental at? And that's the thing. So yeah, I'd be around the most attractive females on the planet, but where's their mental at? Are they driven? Do they have intelligence? Can we engage in an intelligent discussion outside of having sex? Can we talk about things outside of that? And outside of trivial things like sports and entertainment? That's the thing. And I think that's why women were attracted to Rick Ross before he became successful. I think the money just intensified. Women were probably attracted to the man because they saw he was driven and competitive. So remain driven, remain competitive, and then everything else should, in a sense, fall in place. So on that, I'll do great 3 things like share and subscribe. Have a great day. Make money moves, or you're going to live like a fool.